morning. How are you?
Doing fine. Did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
A story to tell.
Go for it.
And I'll preface it with I have a master's in social work that I just got. And I find myself in a position at this point, rather quickly, one, having no idea how that system works, and therefore finding myself without rights to my child. And when I finally figured out that to call you, it was already too late to really do anything about what was happening. You know, my daughter's 18 months. And I still can't believe that as a person with a master's in social work that I have no idea how the CCSS system, like how it works. It operates. It's very different from anything I've ever seen. And I don't even know where to begin because I'm so shocked that the first resort was to take my daughter away from me. And then from her father as well. And then going to court and hearing and seeing all these things written about somebody that you know they're not true, and you have proof they're not true, but nobody listens to you. And if you don't hire the right, if you don't have the right education, and you don't hire the right people, and you don't know what you're doing, you really can foul yourself up, like I have. And it's just the saddest thing that I really have ever been through, because I lost my mom earlier this year. That's kind of how this all got underway. It's just so shocking how just a suspicion or something documented on paper that isn't actually accurate, or even, for example, in my case, I have a part of my case where they say that I'm a methamphetamine abuser, that I have a lengthy criminal history, and that I have severely emotionally deranged and mentally ill, and therefore incapable of ever having my child without supervision. It literally says that in the court document. Now, none of that is true. I don't have a lengthy criminal history. I take Adderall for a diagnosis of ADD, and I take it as prescribed. And yet I've been deemed these things, and now I am those things. And now I can't even get a job, even though I have a master's degree. And I miss my daughter so much that it hurts. It hurts to leave her when she's like trying to pry her fingers to the door and pull it open. And she wants to go with me or with her father, and you don't know really what to say to them. And it's just, I feel like something needs to be done about a system that I know what the code of ethics is for social workers. And I had to double check myself to make sure that they have to follow the same one. And the lengths that they go to prove their case is unbelievable. And the lack of regard for anybody and their well-being, especially kids. Like my 18-month-old has had diarrhea for 2 months now that she's been in foster care.
That's not good.
She's never had that problem.
Has she been taken to the doctor?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So for such severe neglect and abuse, which they said I was, the person doing that, they didn't do it for 5 months. We just had the HUD appointment last week. She wasn't examined by anyone for 5 months. It's really unbelievable to me because it really seems as though, based on some of the things that have happened in the case, if you have no idea what's going on, meaning jurisdiction, disposition, adjudication, these terms, they don't mean anything to most people because that's not what they think of when they think of court or trial. Because I know that system. I know about arraignment, pretrial, all of that. I've never heard of adjudication, disposition, or any of those things. So by the time I'm getting, basically, I guess, convicted, I didn't even know I had this whole trial. And it's all really, the reason I feel like I need to say something about my story is because if I'm a person with a master's in social work, And I've done everything with my daughter to make sure that she doesn't have trauma. I know these are her foundation years. I want the best for her. But if someone who's educated on all of these things and actually worked for the sheriff's department, volunteering their time to give back to the community, if this is happening while also in a rather not affluent but upper middle class area, I can't even imagine. I have a whole new level of empathy for people I've worked with in the past, because I can't even imagine when you're being told basically that I was told this. I wanted my daughter too much, and that was why they were not giving me my daughter. And I couldn't even believe it. I didn't know what to say to that. But I can't imagine what else they say or do, and the abuse of power that happens to all sorts of people, because you're using their most prized treasure. Your child is your heart, it's your soul, and you really find out what your purpose is in life. And then to have it just taken away from you because someone was in that kind of mood. And the father's rights were detained because he told the investigator, who's a social worker, it turns out, not like a law enforcement. But the way they are so aggressive, that she actually broke my HIPAA rights. That she put in court reports mental illnesses that I don't have, and she put that I'm a methamphetamine abuser, even though she didn't know that the Adderall was prescribed for amphetamines, for my diagnosis of ADD. The amphetamines, Adderall, which is an amphetamine, is for ADD, and it's very effective in managing it. But she didn't put that. She put that I was a chronic user of these substances. She used my live scan of, I did a clinical internship at a lockdown mental health hospital, and also volunteered at a federal prison teaching anger management and substance abuse classes. And she put me down as a federal inmate and a 5150 patient at that hospital. It's unreal to me how real facts, if you don't have the right kind of attorney and you don't have the education and you don't know what you're doing, how bad it can go and how much money it will cost, and how your name will never ever be the same, even if none of it's true. And I really feel like I can't practice social work right now, officially, but I feel like I have to do something to make something different, because this is unbelievable. Social workers are supposed to help. And I never knew why people hated social workers until I met them, and I can now relate that I really strongly dislike DCFS. And I don't really know what to do at this point, because I just want to get my daughter home. And at the same time, I don't feel like they should get away with the things that they do. What do you suggest when you don't know what to do and you just know that your daughter's suffering? And, she's 18 months. She does not know why she cannot come home with me or her father. And it's just so painful.
Right. Tell me something. Do you know when your last court date was and your next court date?
Yeah, so I had my disposition on 11/29. They were going to do a 6-month reunification hearing on May 28th. May 23rd. But my lawyer and her father's lawyer requested a 3-month, something in the middle. Because 6 months is so long for a little baby. And so we'll next have our court date on February, I believe it's 23rd also. But if it's not the 23rd, it's February 28th.
Do you know if
Yeah, so we'll go back.
Do you know if that February court date is a progress report date, or is it actually the statutory 6-month hearing?
No, it's just a progress report, and I already feel like without even meaning to, and I've had the best of intentions. I've been on top of everything, and I thought that I was doing everything right. And it turns out I can't get a hold of the social worker for about a week and a half, and he promised to help me get funding for all the programs I was ordered to. But then when he finally does reach out, he tells me that I've missed tests. And I go, what? The first one was they're counting it as a no-show because I was at court and I couldn't show up for a test that day. And it literally, the end of the email said that residential treatment would be the next component. And I'm going, I don't even have this problem. I take a medication, but they still have me test and they know it's going to show up in my system, but yet it's okay because they put me in a treatment program. And I don't get it myself. I also don't even get how a judge can and the CCSS Counsel at the end of your disposition, they take away your child, and then they also tell you, you would have been better off not taking the stand because we thought very low of you in the beginning, but now you're on a whole new level of trash, basically. And I'm like, wow, this is. I literally left the room crying, and I'm not a big crier. And one person who actually worked in the room chased after my lawyer and said, I just wanted to say that was really hard to watch. I'm so sorry for her. Because I didn't get to say anything. Nobody, no witness. I didn't even know there was a trial going on until disposition. And then all of a sudden, when I read your book, and then I went, oh my God, there's so much I didn't know. And I just can't even imagine how many people have been wronged by this system. Like, I didn't even know that CCSS in the 70s had a big scandal with them taking children from poor people. They were like the middlemen for people who were selling them into sex trades. And yet GCSS has still got pretty high standing and funding and all of these things, and I don't understand it because they haven't changed much.
Right.
It really is still all about money for them, and it's not about the children.
Right. Not enough people care to vote and bring up concerns. I mean, every once in a while you'll see something in the Los Angeles Times, but there's no real solutions that are trying to be implemented. What needs to happen is the laws need to be changed by the legislators, and people need to vote in family-friendly judges. And for whatever reason, people in your situation don't organize the vote. The vote is the ultimate weapon to change laws, to change DCFS.